Welcome back to Power Lunch. Now, ADvTECH's interim results were buoyed by the performance of its tertiary division, which grew revenue by 33% to 789 million rand, contributing a 39% to group revenue. Now, the private education group says it was affected by the difficult economic climate and unsettled socio-political environment, which has seen a high number of South African families immigrating. ADvTECH CEO Roy Douglas joins me now to discuss the numbers. Roy, thanks so much for your time. So political uncertainty hitting the education scene too. I'm very interested in the statement that a number of families rather are taking their kids out of school because they're immigrating. So when did this begin?
We've seen the trend previously, but what's happened is it's escalated quite significantly to where it's been a significant impact on our performance during the course of this year. I think it's the whole unsettled, depressed economic circumstances, socio-political disruptions, in a sense, that have affected the performance, and that's disappointing for us. We've actually seen still good enrollment growths at our traditional entry levels into our schools business. But that's adversely affected by the levers, which are harder to fill because they tend to be across the grades, and those are not natural entry points, and that's adversely affected the performance of the business. So underlying enrollments, still strong, still proving the strength of our brands, but it's the net student enrollments which has been disappointing, and primarily that's because of immigration and also financial considerations too.
But I see that the immigration was most acute across your schools division. I'm wondering if it spread to the tertiary sector as well.
Not necessarily, no. We haven't seen the same impact in our tertiary business at all. They generally are targeted at different market groups. And in fact, within our schools business, we've seen a varying performance depending on the school and its particular market position. So it's either the immigration impact and financials, or to lesser and greater extent on those two factors that's primarily affected the business.
And are you able to tell us how many kids have been pulled out of these, or your schools rather, to immigrate?
Sure. We've probably lost in the order of 1,300, 1,400 pupils from a perspective of leavers in our system. So, and a significant portion. As I say, it does depend on the brand, which has a greater or lesser extent of immigration, relocation impact, or financial. But it's those two factors that have affected the net enrollment position. So whilst underlying growth in the business has been reasonable and in line with our expectations, the net number of student enrollments has been affected by those two factors.
Right. So onto the underlying strong enrollments, where are they coming from? So which parents are saying, I want my kids to go to ADvTECH?
I think it's across the range. I think parents in general understand the value of a good quality education and will do their very best to have their children educated to the best of their ability. So our brands, Crawford, ADvTECH Academies, Trinity and Centuris, appeal to a range of different target markets and different consumers. And it's the strength of the business that we think is the portfolio of brand offerings that we have. So we are able to appeal to a number of different target market groups.
And are these South African families, or are you finding that a number of families from outside of South Africa are coming here and are choosing ADvTECH?
Primarily they are South African families, but that's not to say we don't have a considerable number of people from other geographies actually sending their children to school in South Africa. It is a mixture, but by far and large, the majority of our target market are South African families.
So let's talk about that financial pressure that has come towards some of the families. Also, you say in your statement that it's caused some families to withdraw their kids out. So given that we are in this difficult space, is ADvTECH doing anything to maybe accommodate parents who are struggling to pay?
Of course, we understand the emotional difficulty that presents for children. So we engage with parents as soon as we possibly are able to in terms of those kinds of circumstances, and we do make arrangements. But at the end of the day, fees need to be paid. It's unfair on others who are paying fees. I think within the portfolio of brands, we have a range of offerings from premium schools and also to our more mid-fee schools. So we are able to try and make, or to provide at least some degree of offering to parents who are in fact struggling with, perhaps in the premium sector, alternative brands in our portfolio. And we see that being a position that will develop and strengthen over time.
Well, overall, a very strong set of results. So let's talk about what the future looks like for ADvTECH. You are pursuing growth, you are pursuing new market segments, you say, and new regions. So tell us about these new market segments you're looking to enter.